Take a deep breath. Slow, steady, intentional. Because today, right now, in this very moment, you are about to step into a realization that may change the entire direction of your life. And as you listen to my voice, let each word sink into the places inside you that have been carrying too much for too long. If you have ever felt overwhelmed, if you have ever felt forgotten, if you have ever felt like life is asking too much of you, this message is for you. And before we dive deeper, remember, subscribe to RiseDaily, Motivation and Mindset for Modern Dreamers. Like this video, comment your thoughts, and share it with someone who needs this reminder. Your support helps this channel reach more people. Thank you for being here. There are seasons in life when you wake up and the weight on your chest feels heavier than yesterday. Moments where even getting out of bed feels like a battle. Days when you wonder, will this ever get better? And I want to say something that many people never hear enough. It is okay to feel tired. It is okay to feel overwhelmed. It is okay to feel scared. Human strength does not mean pretending everything is fine. Real strength is what you display when everything is not fine, but you keep standing anyway. The fact that you are listening right now, the fact that you have survived this far, the fact that you keep showing up despite the chaos around you, that is strength, raw, unfiltered, undeniable strength. And maybe you do not see it yet. Maybe the world has taught you to underestimate yourself. Maybe people around you never acknowledged your effort. Maybe you have been pouring from an empty cup for years. But hear me clearly. You are stronger than the storm you are in. Not because the storm is small, but because your soul was built for resilience. Storms do not always show up with thunder. Sometimes they show up quietly, in the form of uncertainty, in the form of heartbreak, in the form of financial struggles, or loneliness, or pressure. But every storm has a pattern. Every storm has a purpose. And every storm eventually passes. The challenge is learning to stand still when the wind tries to intimidate you. Not because you are fearless, but because you understand something deeper, something unshakable. You were not born to collapse. You were born to rise. The storm you face today is not a punishment. It is preparation. Preparation for a stronger identity, a sharper mindset, a deeper sense of gratitude, discipline, courage, and awareness. Most people break because they run from the storm. They avoid the truth. They avoid the hard conversations. They avoid the responsibility of growth. They avoid the decisions that demand courage. But you are choosing to face it, to understand it, to outgrow it. That alone already makes you different. Let me ask you something powerful. When was the last time you gave yourself credit for surviving something you were not prepared for? You survived heartbreak. You survived failures. You survived doubt. You survived nights you prayed would end. You survived days where you felt invisible. You survived chapters that could have destroyed your spirit, but did not. And yet, many times, you still believe you are weak. But you are not weak. You are exhausted. And exhaustion is not the same as weakness. Some of the strongest people you know are the ones who learned how to fight battles nobody else sees. And you, yes, you, are one of those people. This storm you are in, it is not here to break you. It is here to wake you, to remind you of the power that has been sleeping inside you, to remind you of the standards you once had but abandoned, to remind you that you are capable of more, not less. And when life becomes overwhelming, when everything feels out of control, the mind begins to whisper lies. You are not enough. You are falling behind. You will not make it through this. But those are not your thoughts. Those are your fears pretending to be your identity. And today, we begin separating the two. You are not your fear. You are not your anxiety. You are not your mistakes. You are not the worst thing that ever happened to you. You are the strength that endured those things. You are the resilience that kept moving. You are the courage that refused to give up. That is who you are. Listen closely. Every storm exposes one truth. You cannot control what hits you, but you can control what you decide to become because of it. Some people let storms destroy them. Some let storms define them. But the rare ones, the ones who rise to greatness, they let storms refine them, refine their discipline, refine their gratitude, refine their courage, refine their self-belief. And you are here, not by accident, but because you are being refined into someone who will not just survive storms, but lead others through them. This is the beginning of your transformation, the beginning of your awakening, the beginning of the version of you that will look back one day and say, "That storm changed my life." Listen, there will come a moment in your life, a moment when everything feels heavier than your hands can hold, when the world feels louder than your peace, when the storm above you feels bigger than anything inside you. But here is the truth that your fear does not want you to remember. You have survived every single storm you have ever faced, every single one. You are not weak. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are evolving into a stronger version of yourself that your past self prayed for. I want you to breathe, slow. Inhale, hold, exhale. Feel your heart steadying itself. Feel your mind returning to you. Feel your strength waking up again. Because storms do not come to drown you. Storms come to clear your path, to remove who you have outgrown, to strip away the comforts that kept you small, to remind you of the truth that most people forget. Strength is born in discomfort. Growth is born in chaos, and clarity is born in the storm. So let me speak directly to your heart. Right now, you might feel tired. You might feel lost. You might feel overwhelmed by things you cannot control. But you are still here, and your presence, your breath, your heartbeat means that your story is not finished. Every powerful comeback begins with a moment just like this. A moment where the world underestimates you, where you almost walk away, where the weight almost wins. But something inside you whispers, "Not yet. This is not where I stop." Life will not always be gentle, but it will always be purposeful. The storm you are in is not punishment. It is preparation. Preparation for the version of you that can handle more, carry more, lead more, become more. When you feel the chaos rising, when you feel the pressure building, when it feels like everything is breaking at once, pause and say this softly to yourself. I do not break. I transform. Because that is what you are doing right now. Transforming, stretching, expanding, becoming someone with the courage to walk through uncertainty and still rise. You have a strength inside you that you rarely give yourself credit for. A strength built from every moment you kept going, when you felt like giving up. A strength shaped by all the storms you survived, even the ones nobody knew you were fighting. You are not fragile. You are forged. You are not lost. You are learning. You are not weak. You are becoming unstoppable. And if nobody told you this today, I will. You are doing better than you think. You are farther than you believe. You are stronger than you feel. Every step you take, even the small ones, is proof that you still believe in something better. And that belief is your power, your anchor, your advantage, your rising point. If you are listening to this right now, stay with me, because the storm you are standing in, it has cracks. And through those cracks, your breakthrough is already shining through. The storm is not the end of your story. It is the chapter before your transformation. And you, yes, you, are stronger than the storm you are in. There is a moment, a quiet moment, when the storm outside you becomes the storm inside you, when you feel the weight not just in your mind, but in your chest, in your breath, in your bones. And sometimes, the hardest battles are not the loud ones, not the messy ones, not the ones people can see, but the battles you fight in silence, when no one is watching, when no one knows what you are carrying, when no one hears the thoughts you are trying to silence. But hear me, your silent battles matter. Your hidden strength matters. Your quiet persistence matters. You are not weak for feeling this. You are human, growing, evolving, awakening. I know what it feels like when the pressure builds, when responsibilities stack higher than peace, when your past tries to pull you backwards, while your future calls you forward, and you are caught in the middle, trying to breathe. But listen closely. The fact that you are still trying means you are stronger than you know. You could have given up, but you did not. You could have walked away, but you stayed. You could have collapsed under the weight, but you carried it anyway. That is strength, real strength, unpolished, unfiltered, undeniable strength. When your heart feels heavy, do not run from yourself. Do not bury your emotions. Do not pretend you are fine when you are breaking inside. Sit with your pain, not to suffer, but to understand. Because every storm has a lesson, and every wave that crashes into you is shaping the shore of who you are becoming. The storm is teaching you endurance, teaching you patience, teaching you emotional discipline, teaching you to hold on, even when your hands are shaking. There will be days when you feel like you are moving in slow motion, days when your energy is low, days when motivation feels far away, and discipline feels heavy. Those days do not define you. Those days are part of you. Those days remind you that growth is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, soft, hidden, like roots growing beneath the soil. Roots do not rise instantly, but they strengthen, silently, deeply, until one day they break the surface. That is you, growing beneath the surface, preparing for a breakthrough you cannot yet see. When your heart feels heavy, I want you to whisper this to yourself, slowly, deliberately, letting each word sink in. I am allowed to struggle and still move forward. I am allowed to rest and still rise again. I am allowed to feel lost and still find my way. I will not give up on myself. Say it again, not for the world, not for social media, not for anyone watching, but for you, because you deserve to hear your own voice supporting you instead of criticizing you. You deserve to hear compassion in your thoughts instead of punishment. You deserve to be on your own side, especially in the storm. Remember this: you can move slowly and still be unstoppable. Consistency is stronger than intensity. Small steps are stronger than perfect ones. Forward is forward, even when it feels like crawling. Life is not asking you to be fearless. Life is asking you to keep going, even when you are afraid. Because courage is not loud. Courage is quiet. Courage is steady. Courage whispers. Take one more step, and you do. I want you to know. The version of you on the other side of this storm. The version of you with clarity, with strength, with wisdom, with confidence, is already waiting. Who you are becoming is worth the struggle. And even if you cannot see the light yet, you are walking toward it. Every day, every choice, every step. So keep moving forward, even slowly, even softly, even with a heavy heart. The storm will pass, your strength will not. There comes a moment in every storm, not at the beginning, not at the end, but somewhere in the middle, where you feel the weight of everything pressing down on you. You begin to wonder, how much longer can I hold on? How much more can I take? Why does life feel so heavy right now? And those questions are not signs of weakness. They are proof you are human, navigating something difficult, and still choosing to rise. Let me tell you something deeply important, a truth I learned the hard way. The weight you carry today is quietly shaping the future version of you. It may not feel like growth. It may not feel like progress. It may not feel like strength. But every time you get up, every time you choose hope over fear, every time you refuse to quit, you are creating a deeper version of yourself. A version that does not break easily. A version that knows how to stand alone. A version that learns how to trust its own heart. Even when the world becomes chaotic, the storm is not here to destroy you. The storm is here to carve out the part of you that you have not met yet. The part of you that is powerful, resilient, unshakable. But growth does not feel pretty. It feels uncomfortable. It feels exhausting. It feels overwhelming. Because transformation demands pressure. Without pressure, coal never becomes a diamond. Without storms, trees never grow deeper roots. Without resistance, muscles never grow strong. You are changing, even if you do not realize it. I want you to pause for a moment, right here, right now, and breathe deeply, slowly, with intention. Because your breath is proof. Proof that you made it through every difficult moment before this one. Proof that you survived heartbreaks that once felt unbearable. Proof that you overcame days when you thought you could not go on. Proof that you are still rising, even now. You do not give yourself enough credit. You rarely acknowledge the strength you already have. But look at you. Still here, still standing, still fighting. That is not something small. That is extraordinary. Sometimes the heaviest weight is not responsibility, not work, not stress, but the pressure you place on yourself, the pressure to be strong all the time, the pressure to never fall behind, the pressure to heal faster, the pressure to stay positive, the pressure to carry everything perfectly, even when you are breaking inside. But listen to me. You are allowed to be strong and still struggle. You are allowed to be brave and still feel afraid. You are allowed to be powerful and still feel overwhelmed. The presence of struggle does not erase your strength. It reveals it. Do not underestimate the person you are becoming. The storm is not weakening you. It is hollowing out the space inside you where your future strength will live. Think about that. Every challenge is building a version of you that will walk into the next chapter of your life with more wisdom, more clarity, more resilience, more confidence, more emotional depth. What you are carrying right now is preparing you for a life you cannot yet see, a life that requires this level of strength, this level of courage, this level of emotional mastery. The storm is not a punishment. The storm is preparation. And I know, sometimes you wish the weight would disappear. Sometimes you wish the path would get easier. Sometimes you wish the storm would end already. But I promise you, there will come a day when you will look back and say, "That storm changed me. That storm saved me. That storm built the version of me I always needed." You are not being destroyed. You are being rebuilt. Slowly, silently, powerfully. Become so intense, so overwhelming, so heavy, that you begin to believe the lie that you are reaching a breaking point. But here is a truth I want you to hold on to. A truth most people never discover until life forces them to. Your breaking point is not the end. It is the turning point. It is the moment where the version of you that cannot survive the next chapter falls away, and the version of you that can begins to emerge. Think about your past for a second. Really think about it. Every time you said, "I cannot take this anymore," you still kept going. Every time you said, "This is too much," you found a way through. Every time life pushed you to the edge, something inside you rose. Not because you were ready, not because you were fearless, but because something deeper, something stronger, something wiser took control. That is what is happening right now. Your breaking point is not a sign that you are weak. It is a sign that growth is in motion, a sign that something inside you is expanding, a sign that you are stepping into a version of yourself that demands more resilience, more courage, more emotional endurance. Pressure is what sparks transformation. Pressure is what forces change. Pressure is what reveals strength you did not know you had. Just like muscles tear before they grow, just like metal bends before it becomes unbreakable, the human spirit stretches, struggles, and sometimes shatters before it becomes unstoppable. There is a version of you on the other side of this moment, a version that is calmer, more grounded, more aligned, more confident, more whole. But this version can only exist because of the storm you are facing right now. Your breaking point is not destroying you. It is introducing you to a stronger identity, a wiser identity, a more powerful identity. You are meeting yourself again. And this time, you are meeting the version that was meant for the life you desire. I want you to understand something deeply, something that will shift the way you see your struggle. Your spirit is far more resilient than your mind realizes. Your mind gets tired, your emotions get heavy, your thoughts get loud, your hope gets dim. But your spirit, that quiet, steady force inside you, never quits. It keeps pushing you forward, even when you feel stuck. It keeps rising, even when you fall. It keeps whispering, "Do not give up. Not now. You are close. You are closer than you think. Closer to breakthrough. Closer to clarity. Closer to becoming the person you have fought to become." Life does not send storms to defeat you. Life sends storms to strip away what weighs you down. Old habits, old fears, old identities, old stories you tell yourself, old attachments that no longer fit the person you are becoming. Sometimes life has to shake you, to wake you. Sometimes life has to break you open, to open the path you were meant to walk. Sometimes life has to overwhelm you, so you can finally let go of the things you were never meant to carry. This breaking point is clearing the way for your rise. So breathe again, slowly, deeply, intentionally. You are not failing. You are transitioning. You are not breaking down. You are breaking through. You are not at the end. You are at the beginning of a stronger chapter. And when the storm passes, you will not go back to who you were before it began, because you are evolving, growing, strengthening right now, even if you cannot see it. But you chose to keep going. There is a strength in you that you have not even fully met yet. A strength that reveals itself only in adversity. A strength that grows in darkness. A strength that becomes undeniable when life pushes you to the edge. Life is not punishing you. Life is preparing you. Preparation is not comfortable. Preparation is not gentle. Preparation is not predictable. Preparation stretches you. Preparation challenges you. Preparation strengthens you where you are weak. Preparation reveals where you need to grow. You are in preparation right now. When you ask for something greater, life responds with training. You ask for peace. Life gives you situations that force you to develop emotional control. You ask for confidence. Life gives you risks that require courage. You ask for strength. Life gives you obstacles that demand resilience. You ask for better relationships. Life reveals what must be healed inside you first. You ask for a breakthrough. Life clears out the old, even if the clearing hurts. You are not being denied. You are being developed. There is a future version of you, already built, already standing strong, already living with more clarity, more purpose, more stability, more self-respect. And life is shaping you into that person right now. Everything you are going through is part of that shaping. The disappointments, the delays, the heartbreaks, the silent battles, the moments when no one sees your effort, the nights when your thoughts are louder than your hope. None of it is wasted. None of it is meaningless. None of it is random. It is preparation. I want you to imagine this clearly. When a storm hits a tree, the wind does not make the roots weaker. The wind forces the roots to grow deeper. Life works the same way. Pressure deepens you. Uncertainty matures you. Challenge strengthens your foundation. You are growing deeper roots right now. Roots that will hold you when life becomes heavy again. Roots that will keep you grounded when everything around you shifts. Roots that will make you unshakable. This is not a breakdown. This is a breakthrough being built from the inside out. So do not rush this season. Do not hate it. Do not fear it. Rise through it. Learn from it. Stand in it with dignity, even when you feel tired. Because one day, you will look back at this storm, and you will see that this was the season that made you, the season that awakened you, the season that toughened your spirit, the season that forced you to grow into someone you did not know you could be. Life is preparing you, and preparation always comes before elevation. Before we continue into segment 7, let me say this sincerely. If this message is speaking to you, if it is helping you breathe deeper, helping you stand taller, helping you keep fighting, take a breath. Look around you for a second. You're not behind, you're not late, you're not failing, you're restarting. And restarts feel slow because they require rebuilding the foundation everyone else already has. Everyone online moves fast. Everyone posts their highlight reel. Everyone makes it look easy. But you're actually doing the hard part, starting again when no one sees the effort. Don't compare your Chapter 1 restart to someone's Chapter 30 routine. Don't look left, don't look right, look forward, because every comeback starts with one decision. I'm done being who I used to be. You don't need to match anyone's timeline. You don't need to explain your journey. You don't need permission to begin again. This is your rebuild, your tempo, your new identity forming one choice at a time. You are not behind. You are exactly where your next level begins. People underestimate small wins, but small wins are how you rebuild yourself quietly, consistently, permanently. You don't become disciplined overnight. You earn discipline by doing one simple thing, showing up when you don't feel like it. One more page read, one more rep finished, one more morning you didn't hit snooze, one more promise you actually kept. These don't look impressive on camera, but they rewire you. Every time you make a small decision that your old self would avoid, you weaken the person you were and strengthen the person you're becoming. Small wins build confidence. Confidence builds identity. Identity builds momentum. And momentum builds a life you once thought you weren't ready for. Don't chase big results. Chase the tiny choices that quietly turn you into someone unstoppable. There are two kinds of weight in life: the weight you cannot control and the weight you choose to carry. The storms you never asked for, loss, pressure, uncertainty, heartbreak, those are the weights that arrive uninvited. They test your resilience, they stretch your capacity, they shape your character in ways nothing else can. But then, there is the weight you add yourself, the unrealistic expectations, the fear of disappointing people, the pressure to be perfect even on days when breathing already feels like work. Some storms break you, but some storms are heavy only because you are carrying far more than you need to. You do not have to perform strength every day. You do not have to pretend you are fine. You do not have to fix everything at once. Sometimes resilience begins by letting go of the weight that is not yours, so you can finally carry what truly matters. You are not weak for feeling tired. You are human, and humans deserve to breathe before they rise. There is a kind of strength you rarely notice, because it does not look like the strength you see in movies, or the strength people expect from you. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It does not shout, "Look at what I survived." It is quieter, simpler, but far more powerful. It is the strength that wakes you up even when your heart feels heavy. The strength that whispers, "Try again today," even if you move slower. It is the strength that stays with you when you are overwhelmed, when your thoughts spiral, when the world feels too loud, and you do not know where your life is heading. You forget this strength because it is subtle. It lives in your smallest decisions. The decision to breathe instead of break, to ask for help instead of shutting down, to rest instead of quitting, to be honest with yourself instead of hiding behind a mask. This quiet strength is the reason you are still here. The reason your story has not ended. The reason you can still fight, even if your fight looks gentler than before. Do not overlook the power you carry. Your strength does not need to be loud to be real. It just needs to be yours. And it is. There comes a moment in every storm when the chaos outside you no longer matches the truth inside you. A moment when your heart whispers, softly at first, then louder. It is time to rise again. Not because everything is perfect, not because the pain suddenly disappeared, not because your problems magically solved themselves, but because something deep inside you is tired of being afraid, tired of shrinking, tired of living in survival mode. You feel this moment long before you act on it. It starts as a restlessness, a discomfort with the life you have settled into. a quiet knowing that you were meant for more than just holding yourself together. You may not trust the feeling at first. You may question it, doubt it, push it away, but your heart keeps returning to the same truth. This storm is not your home. It is only your season. And at some point, you will choose to rise. Not dramatically, not instantly, not perfectly. You will rise because your soul remembers who you were before the fear, before the heartbreak, before the world grew heavy. And you will rise because the part of you that refuses to give up is stronger than the part of you that is tired. When your heart knows it is time to rise, no storm can hold you forever. There is a moment in every journey when the path grows quiet, not because you have stopped, but because life is preparing you for a deeper truth. Listen closely. This silence you feel is not emptiness. It is alignment. It is your inner world rearranging itself so that your next step lands with purpose, not panic. You have spent so long carrying storms inside you that you sometimes forget the sky can clear. But it does, and it will. Because storms do not last, and neither do the versions of you that fear them. Take a breath. Let the world slow down, just for a moment. Let the noise fall to the edges. Let your thoughts settle like dust returning to the earth. There, right there, in that stillness, you will feel something rise, strength that has been waiting, courage that has been forming quietly beneath every doubt you survived. A calm, deeper than your past, wider than your fear, older than your pain. This is not a small shift. This is the beginning of a personal awakening, because when the storm outside seems loud, the mind seeks shelter. But when the storm inside begins to calm, the soul starts to open. And you are opening slowly, powerfully, unstoppably. You are learning that resilience is not built in the loud moments. It is built in the quiet ones, when you choose to stand, even when no one sees the effort, when you choose to hope, even when the world feels heavy, when you choose to believe, even though belief feels fragile. But belief, even fragile belief, is still belief. And belief is always enough to begin. So keep walking, step by quiet step, breath by steady breath. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are in transition, shifting from who you were into who you are meant to become. And this shift, this quiet, powerful shift, is the sign that part one is approaching its final rise. The storm is not winning. You are. There comes a point when you stop asking life why it is difficult, and you start asking yourself who you are becoming because of it. This is that point. You have been pushed, tested, stretched past comfort, yet something inside you refuses to break, not because you never felt the pressure, but because your spirit remembers something your fear forgets. You were not built for ease. You were built for evolution. Let that settle in your chest. Let it echo. Let it reshape the way you see your own reflection. Every challenge you faced, every heavy chapter, every quiet hurt, it all prepared you for a strength you have not fully claimed yet. Look at you, still here, still rising, still choosing to move forward, even with the weight of unspoken battles on your back. This is resilience in motion. This is the early formation of a warrior mindset. And part one is beginning to reveal the truth you needed to hear. You are becoming the kind of person who no longer runs from storms. You are becoming the one who learns to walk through them with steady breath. You have been conditioned to think strength looks loud, that it is brute force, that it is fire, that it is something the world can easily see. But real strength, the kind that changes the course of your life, is often silent. It is the quiet decision to begin again, even when yesterday drained you. It is the steady whisper that says, continue. Even when your doubts scream louder, strength is subtle, but its impact is undeniable. Think about all the moments you survived that no one knows about. The nights you kept your heart together with hope so thin it almost disappeared. The days you moved forward even when the world felt heavy. Those moments shaped you. Those moments trained you. Those moments refined the fire inside you. And now, as this narrative deepens, you can feel it, can you not? Something powerful stirring, something awakening, something that feels like a promise you have not spoken aloud. Keep breathing. You are moving toward the version of you that refuses to fold. There is a shift inside you, happening quietly. Not dramatic, not chaotic, just steady and real. Growth rarely announces itself. It arrives in whispers. A calmer mind, a slower heartbeat, a deeper understanding of what deserves your energy and what no longer does. You are pulling away from old fears, old wounds, old versions of yourself that once felt permanent. But nothing about you was ever meant to stay the same. Life is not asking you to be fearless. Life is asking you to be honest, to acknowledge the fear and walk anyway. That is courage, that is maturity, that is the transformation unfolding within you. You are learning how to hold yourself through the storm, not because the storm is gentle, but because you are no longer fragile. Every step you take with intention, and intention changes everything. There is something powerful about recognizing your own resilience. It is the moment you stop waiting for rescue and start trusting your ability to rise. You have been your own anchor more times than you admit. You have saved yourself in moments no one witnessed. You have carried pain, yet still managed to give kindness. You have been tired, yet still showed up. That is not weakness. That is character. So pause, just for a second. Acknowledge the battles you survived quietly. Acknowledge the strength that kept you standing. Acknowledge the courage that kept your heart open, even when the world felt cold. This is not the end of your fight, but it is a new beginning for your self-belief. The storm did not break you. It introduced you to the strongest version of you that you have ever known. As you move deeper into this journey, you may feel something unexpected, a softness returning, not weakness, not vulnerability in the fragile sense, but a softness that comes from understanding your own power. People often mistake softness for danger, as if being gentle means being unprepared. But the truth is the opposite. The strongest people are the ones who can stay open after being hurt, the ones who can trust again after being disappointed, the ones who choose empathy, even when the world has shown them cruelty. That is you, still open, still trying, still believing in better days, even when the present feels heavy. Do not underestimate that. Softness with strength behind it is unbreakable, and you are becoming unbreakable. Life has a way of testing you at the exact moment you doubt yourself the most. It pushes, it pressures, it forces you to face the parts of yourself that feel unfinished. But what you do not always see is that pressure reveals potential. Diamonds are not formed in comfort. Warriors are not created in calm. And your greatest growth was never going to happen in the easy chapters. Look at the patterns. Every time life felt overwhelming, you emerged wiser. Every time you felt lost, you eventually discovered a new direction. Every moment that felt like an ending was the beginning of a new inner strength. This is not coincidence. This is transformation in progress. And now, as part 1 enters its final rise, you are closer than ever to becoming the person you once prayed you could be. There is a fire inside you. You have felt it, a quiet burning in your chest, a heat that refuses to die out. Even on days when your hope feels thin, that fire has carried you through storms your younger self never imagined surviving. It has given you the strength to endure, to rebuild, to believe in a future that once felt impossible. Do not ignore that fire. Do not underestimate its power, because that fire is your spirit reminding you who you are. Not your fears, not your doubts, not your past. You, a person capable of rebuilding their life. One step, one breath, one brave decision at a time. The storm may surround you, but the fire within you burns brighter. You may not realize it yet, but you are entering a new phase of your becoming. There is a clarity forming, a strength gathering, a sense of direction returning. It does not matter how slow your progress feels. Progress is still progress. Healing is still healing. Growth is still growth. You are learning how to trust the timing of your life. You are learning that nothing meant for you will require self-betrayal. You are learning to recognize the difference between what drains you and what nourishes your soul. This is wisdom born from experience, not theory, not wishful thinking. Truth, real, lived truth. And now you carry that truth with you, like a compass guiding you through every dark moment. You are not lost, you are being led. As the hour begins its final descent, something in you begins to rise. A realization, a shift, a quiet confidence that was once hidden beneath layers of doubt. You are stronger than the storm you are in, not because the storm is small, but because your determination is larger. Every scar you carry holds a story of survival. Every lesson you learned built emotional armor. Every step you took proved that your resilience is not fragile. You are not defined by what you lost. You are defined by what you refused to surrender. And as this segment unfolds, you can feel it. A profound inner steadiness forming. Keep going. Part 1 is reaching its peak. You are finally seeing yourself clearly, not through the lens of fear, not through the lens of past mistakes, but through the truth of who you are becoming. Capable, resilient, focused, awake. You are starting to understand that storms do not come to destroy you. They come to reveal you. They come to clear the path, to strip away what is temporary, to prepare you for what is stronger, truer, more aligned with the life you are meant to build. This understanding, this clarity, this awareness is a turning point. You are stepping into a version of yourself that no longer negotiates with doubt. You are stepping into a chapter where strength is not an act. It is your nature, and that realization changes everything. Here you are, standing in the glow of your own awakening. Feel this moment, hold it, let it settle deep within you. You have walked through the quiet, through the heaviness, through the shadows of your own uncertainty, and you have not only survived, you have transformed. The storm that once felt overwhelming no longer holds the same power, because you now understand something essential, something unshakable. Strength is not something you find. Strength is something you uncover. It was always inside you, waiting, growing, maturing, preparing. Now, it rises. You are not the same person who began this journey. You are steadier, more grounded, more aware of your power, more aligned with your purpose. Stand here, breathe here, own this moment. You are stronger than the storm you are in. The air shifts here, different from where you came from, quieter in some places, heavier in others, as if the path ahead carries both the weight of your past and the promise of the person you are becoming. You step forward, not with uncertainty, but with a calm awareness that you are entering a deeper chapter, a chapter where your strength is no longer something you search for. It is something you stand in. There is a new rhythm forming in your heartbeat, a steady, grounded pulse that whispers, "You are ready." Ready to face what you once avoided, ready to heal what you once buried, ready to rise in ways you once believed were impossible. This next stretch of your journey will not ask you to be perfect. It will only ask you to be present. Present with your feelings. Present with your truth. Present with the quiet courage that lives inside your chest and grows louder with every breath you take. Walk with intention now. You are entering the part of your life where strength becomes identity, where clarity becomes direction, where resilience becomes instinct. You are not stepping into something new. You are stepping into something true. There is a moment, right before real change takes hold, when the mind hesitates, not because you are incapable, but because you are crossing a threshold your old self never imagined reaching. This is that moment. Your doubts may try to return. Your fear may try to hold on. But they no longer lead you. They no longer decide who you can be. Take a breath, slow, deep, grounded. Feel the weight of everything you have already stepped through. You have earned every ounce of growth inside you, not through ease, but through endurance. And now, life is beginning to reveal the next layer of your strength, a layer forged not from survival, but from intention. You are no longer fighting the storm. You are learning to navigate it with clarity, with purpose, with a spirit that refuses to collapse. This is the shift from endurance to empowerment. Do not rush it. Do not fear it. Rise into it. There is a truth you are finally ready to see. A truth your pain once made difficult to believe, but your strength now makes impossible to ignore. You deserve more than survival. You deserve a life that feels aligned, a life that reflects your courage, a life built from healed choices, not wounded reactions. And that begins here, in this moment, where your old patterns lose their power and your new direction begins to form. You are learning to trust yourself again, not blindly, but consciously. Because you now understand that trust is not built from perfection. It is built from consistency. Every time you get up, every time you choose growth, every time you take a step you once feared, you rebuild the foundation beneath your own feet. Feel that. Let that truth settle. You are becoming someone you can rely on, someone you can believe in, someone you can build a future with. This is the start of emotional alignment, and alignment changes everything. You may feel a pull right now, a quiet internal force nudging you towards something deeper. It is not pressure, it is not expectation, it is guidance. Your life is shifting from reaction to direction. You are not running from storms anymore. You are following your own clarity, and clarity, once awakened, is impossible to silence. You feel it in your decisions. You feel it in your thoughts. You feel it in the way your spirit no longer collapses when life becomes heavy. This is strength evolving. Not the loud kind, but the steady kind. The kind that stands firm even in uncertainty. The kind that believes in progress even when progress is small. The kind that refuses to let fear lead. You are walking a different way now. Not faster, not harder, just wiser. And wisdom is the beginning of real transformation. There is a version of you that you have not fully met yet. A stronger version, a calmer version, a more grounded, more intentional, more courageous version. This journey is leading you toward that self. Every lesson you faced, every pain you endured, every truth you uncovered has been shaping the path to your becoming. Do not underestimate how far you have come. Your growth did not happen overnight, but it happened quietly, consistently, powerfully. You are shedding the patterns that held you back. You are releasing the weight that dimmed your spirit. You are stepping into a life built from consciousness, not chaos. This is self-evolution. This is the rise that follows every storm. This is you, discovering who you were always meant to be. There will be moments ahead when the path feels uncertain again. Not because you are weak, but because growth requires exploration. Do not fear those moments. Do not shrink from them. Uncertainty does not signal danger. It signals possibility. You are no longer the person who panics when life shifts directions. You are learning to breathe through the unknown, to trust the unfolding, to understand that timing is not always yours to control, but alignment is. Every challenge ahead will meet a stronger version of you. Every setback ahead will confront a wiser version of you. Every storm ahead will face a more grounded, more resilient, more awakened version of you. The future is not something to fear. It is something you are prepared to walk into. One step, one choice, one rise at a time. You have reached a point on this journey where you can finally look back without breaking. Not to reopen wounds, but to recognize the strength it took to close them. Look at everything you survived. Look at everything you carried. Look at everything you rebuilt from pieces that once felt too scattered to hold. You did that. You held yourself together on days you did not feel held by anyone. You kept moving. On days when stillness felt easier. You believed in possibility even when pain tried to convince you otherwise. This is not small. This is monumental. Your story is not about struggle. It is about endurance. It is about heart. It is about the unshakable resilience that lives in you, even when you forget it is there. And now, as the path stretches forward, you are carrying not your pain, but your power. There is a new strength forming inside your voice. Not loud, not sharp, but certain. The kind of certainty that only comes after you have walked through enough storms to finally understand your own capability. You speak differently now. You think differently. You choose differently. Not because you were forced to change, but because you finally realized you deserve a life that supports your growth, not your fear. This is emotional maturity. This is self-respect awakening. This is your heart learning how to protect itself without hardening. You are allowed to outgrow what once felt familiar. You are allowed to release what no longer aligns. You are allowed to build a future that honors the person you are becoming. Keep breathing. This is a different kind of rise, a rise from within. The deeper you move into this journey, the more you understand something essential. Strength is not about avoiding storms. Strength is about meeting them with a calmer mind and a steadier soul. You have learned how to hold yourself through the uncertainty. You have learned how to trust your intuition over your fear. You have learned how to move forward even when the path is not fully visible. This is mastery of self, not perfection, just presence, awareness, courage. You are beginning to step into life with a confidence that is deeply earned, a confidence that comes from knowing that no matter what you face, you can handle it. And that truth is becoming the foundation beneath your every step. You have come far, not by rushing, not by forcing, but by choosing, again and again, to rise. And now, you stand in a place of inner strength that your past self never imagined reaching. Feel this. Acknowledge this. This is your evolution. This is your becoming. This is your rise beyond the storm. You are not trying to escape your difficulties anymore. You are learning from them. You are growing through them. You are transforming because of them. Your story is no longer about what broke you. It is about what built you. And as you continue forward, your spirit grows steadier, your focus grows sharper, your heart grows stronger. You are no longer surviving the storm. You are redefining who you become inside it. There is a threshold you cross, quietly, almost without noticing, where your past no longer feels like a weight, but a reference point, not a prison, but a reminder of how far you have risen. You are crossing that threshold now. You no longer move with the heaviness of someone trying to escape what once hurt you. You move with the steadiness of someone who understands that every experience, every loss, every lesson, every storm shaped the depth of your strength. You do not crumble the way you used to. You do not question your worth the way you once did. You do not shrink at the first sign of uncertainty. You face it. You breathe through it. You adapt to it. This is growth that cannot be undone. This is confidence that cannot be taken. This is the quiet rise of someone who finally knows their power was never the storm, but their ability to move through it. Keep going. Your rise is only beginning. There is a point in every person's journey when healing stops being something you chase and becomes something you choose. You are arriving at that point. Healing is no longer a distant horizon. It is a daily decision, a daily alignment, a daily act of choosing what nourishes your soul over what numbs your pain. You are speaking to yourself more gently now. You are recognizing when your mind slips back into old patterns. You are catching the thoughts that once spiraled out of control. You are not perfect, but you are aware. And awareness is the beginning of mastery. The storms around you may still rise, but the storms within you are losing their power. This is emotional freedom beginning to form, a quiet liberation, a soft, steady unveiling of your inner strength. You are not returning to who you were. You are becoming who you were always meant to be. You may not realize it fully, but your heart is growing stronger, not hardened, not closed, just stronger. You feel things differently now, not with the frantic urgency of survival, but with the grounded clarity of someone who has learned to trust their own depth. You no longer chase validation from places that cannot offer it. You no longer cling to people who drain your spirit. You no longer fight for your worth, you stand in it. This is the beginning of emotional sovereignty. The world around you may shift, but the world within you is becoming unshakable. Every storm you endured taught you how to return to yourself. Every challenge you overcame taught you how to stand tall even when your knees trembled. And now, you carry a presence that does not need to prove anything. You simply are. And that is more powerful than you know. There is a new rhythm forming in your life, one that is not rushed, not forced, not driven by fear. It is grounded, intentional, aligned. You are beginning to move with a calm certainty that comes from knowing that you do not need to control everything, only yourself. Your reactions are softer. Your vision is clearer. Your decisions come from understanding instead of desperation. This is emotional maturity taking root. This is mental strength becoming a habit. This is your inner world finally finding its balance. You are learning to trust timing. You are learning to trust the unfolding. You are learning to trust that even when the path feels unfamiliar, you are guided. Not by fear, not by pain, but by the wisdom you earned. In every storm you survived, your rise continues here. Steady, certain, unstoppable. You may not realize this yet, but you have already become someone your past self needed. Someone calmer, someone braver, someone who knows how to breathe through moments that once felt impossible to endure. Look at the strength you carry now, not the loud kind, not the dramatic kind, but the quiet, enduring kind that stays even when life becomes difficult. You hold yourself differently. You speak differently. You choose differently. Not because life became easier, but because you became stronger. This is not the same storm you once feared. This is not the same path you once struggled to walk. You are meeting everything that comes your way with a depth of resilience that your younger self would have been proud of. Honor yourself for that. You have earned every step forward. As the journey deepens, you begin to feel something powerful awakening inside you. Self-trust. Not the fragile kind that depends on perfect days, but the durable kind that remains steady even in chaos. You trust your decisions more. You trust your intuition more. You trust your ability to adapt even when life shifts unexpectedly. This trust is not built from comfort. It is built from endurance. Every time you rose after being knocked down, every time you chose growth instead of giving up, every time you kept moving despite the fear in your chest, you built this trust. And now, it guides you. It steadies you. It strengthens you. This is the foundation of your next rise. There is a fire inside you that has survived every storm, a fire that refused to go out even in the darkest chapters of your life. That fire is burning brighter now, not with rage, not with desperation, with purpose. The kind of purpose that comes from finally understanding why you had to endure so much, why you had to outgrow certain people, why you had to break patterns that once felt unbreakable. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was meaningless. Everything shaped you. Your spirit is not the same as before. Your mindset is not the same. Your heart is not the same. You are evolving with every breath you take, and this evolution is becoming unstoppable. You are entering a place in your journey where your past no longer defines you. It informs you. You carry wisdom now, not wounds. You carry clarity, not confusion. You carry strength, not fear. This is a profound shift, one that many people seek, but few reach. You reached it because you refused to stop rising. You faced the storms that were meant to break you. You walked through the darkness that once intimidated your spirit. You survived the moments that would have shattered a weaker heart. You did that. You rose through that. You learned from that. And now, you stand here with a depth of strength that can only be earned. Your journey is far from over. But you are no longer walking as the same person. You are walking as someone who understands their own power. Breathe in, slowly. Breathe out, gently. Today begins with clarity, even if yesterday felt loud. Let the noise settle. Let the mind open. You're here, and you're ready. You don't rise by accident. You rise by intention. One thought, one step, one commitment at a time. And right now, your commitment is yourself. You're not chasing perfection. You're practicing consistency, the one habit that outperforms talent, motivation, and luck. Show up today, even if it's not perfect, especially if it's not perfect. Momentum doesn't start big. It starts small, tiny wins, barely noticeable at first. But stack those wins, and suddenly, the person you once hoped to be becomes the person you are. Think of one thing you avoided, one task, one message, one responsibility. Today, you face it, not because it's easy, but because running from it has cost you more. You're building discipline, you're building courage, you're building a life that responds when you call. And every decision today shapes tomorrow's opportunities. Remember, growth rarely feels like growth in the moment. It feels like discomfort, uncertainty, pressure. But these are signs of expansion, not failure. Your potential didn't disappear. Your fire didn't die. It's been waiting, patiently, for you to move again. And you're moving now. The world doesn't need a perfect version of you. It needs a present one, an honest one, a deliberate one. And that person is standing here, today. So take the next step, small, steady, intentional. You planted the seed yesterday. Today, you learn how to make it grow. Growth isn't loud, it's quiet, patient, consistent. And every quiet effort you make today becomes the confidence you carry tomorrow. You don't need everything figured out, just the next step. Focus on that, then repeat. That's how real progress is built. You've survived days harder than this, moments heavier than this, and still, you're here. Don't underestimate that strength. Your story is shifting, not suddenly, but steadily. And the version of you emerging now, stronger, sharper, more aligned. When fear says wait, discipline says move. And every time you choose to move, you rewrite your future. This is the part where most people stop, but you continue. That's why you'll outgrow who you used to be. Breathe, reset, recenter. You're not rushing, you're aligning. You're learning to trust yourself again, not because everything is perfect, but because you finally understand. You're capable of more than you thought. Keep moving. Keep choosing the habits that build you. Keep saying yes to the life you want, and no to everything that blocks it. Not every day will feel powerful. Not every moment will feel inspired. But every action you take today is proof that you're becoming someone who doesn't quit. You showed up, you followed through, and that alone is enough to shift your entire trajectory. This is how transformation begins. You planted the seed, you nurtured the discipline, and now you rise with intention. Tomorrow brings another chance, but today, you already won. The world is still. The storm has not disappeared, but something inside you has changed. There is a moment in every person's life when fear stops sounding like a warning and starts sounding like an invitation to rise higher, to step into the person you were always meant to become. Take a breath. Slow, steady, intentional. This breath is your proof that you are not the same person who walked into the storm. This breath carries experience. It carries clarity. It carries the quiet authority of someone who has endured, learned, shifted. And now you begin a different kind of journey. Not one where you are running from the storm, but one where you are walking with purpose through the aftermath, strengthened, refined, and unshakably aware of what you can survive. You do not rush. You do not chase. You move deliberately, with a new kind of calm that only comes from having faced your own breaking point and choosing to keep going. This is the turning point. Not dramatic, not loud, not marked by fireworks or applause, but marked by something far more powerful. The shift inside your own spirit that whispers, I can do this. I am capable. I am not done. The storm taught you humility. It taught you patience. It taught you that collapsing does not mean failure. It means regeneration. So now, step forward. Not because everything is easy, but because you finally understand that you were never meant to stay in one place. Your story moves, your purpose moves, your life moves, and now, so do you. Progress does not begin with a breakthrough. It begins with a decision to rebuild from where you stand using what you have and trusting that it will be enough. You look at the pieces around you, some broken, some scattered, some still sharp from the things that once hurt. And yet, right here, in this moment, you understand something powerful. Every piece is still yours. Every lesson is still yours. Every scar is still yours. And everything you have carried is now raw material for who you are becoming. Rebuilding is not glamorous. It is not effortless. It is not quick. It is a series of small, steady, intentional actions that slowly reshape your life from the inside out. You begin with clarity. You ask yourself, what do I want to keep? What am I finally ready to release? What kind of life feels true to me now? Questions like these cast light into the parts of you that were dimmed by survival. They do not demand perfection, only honesty. And honesty is where your real rebuilding begins. You take one habit, one thought, one pattern, and you shift it by 1 degree, just one, because 1 degree is enough to change your direction entirely. People often search for dramatic transformation, but lasting transformation is slow, gentle, patient, rooted in consistency more than inspiration. So rebuild without rushing, rebuild without comparing, rebuild without apologizing for the space you need and the dreams you carry. You are not behind. You are not late. You are rebuilding on your own timeline. And that is exactly how it should be. Strength does not return all at once. It comes back in small waves, tiny wins, quiet confirmations that remind you, you are rising again. There is a kind of strength that comes only after you have been broken open, a strength that is softer but deeper, steadier, and far more real. This strength does not need to be proven. It does not need to be performed. It exists simply because you continued when stopping would have been easier. You start noticing it in the way you speak to yourself, the way you choose your boundaries, the way you show up for your goals, even when motivation is low and the path feels long. This strength moves differently. It carries wisdom. It carries patience. It carries a level of self-trust that can only be earned through struggle. And slowly, you realize something else. The storm did not weaken you. It revealed you. It gave you access to parts of yourself you would never have met if everything had stayed calm. You honor your progress. You honor your endurance. You honor the courage it took to simply stay alive during the chapters you never talk about. You have outgrown the version of yourself who doubted and hid and apologized for taking up space. Now you walk differently. Now you speak with more intention. Now your presence feels grounded because you know exactly what it cost you to get here. And this time, your strength is not loud. It is undeniable. There comes a moment in healing when your mind stops replaying the past and starts imagining the future again. Not as a fantasy, not as an escape, but as something real, something reachable, something that belongs to you. You have felt this shift, a quiet openness, a subtle pull forward, a gentle awareness that life is moving again and you are ready to move with it. This is the rising mind, a mind that has survived chaos and now seeks clarity, a mind that once carried fear and now carries intention. You begin noticing thoughts that feel lighter, thoughts that feel supportive, thoughts that do not punish you for being human. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin asking, "What is this shaping me into?" The rising mind is not loud. It is steady. It is curious. It is compassionate with you in ways you once believed were impossible. You start seeing opportunities instead of limitations. You start recognizing your patterns instead of feeling controlled by them. And you start choosing who you want to be instead of repeating who you have been. This is not accidental. This is evolution. Your mind is learning that you are no longer in danger. Your system is realizing that it can release the tension it once clung to for survival. Your thoughts are finally free to dream again without fear of disappointment. And slowly, your inner dialogue changes. Not perfectly, not instantly, but consistently. You hear yourself saying, "I can do this. I am worthy of this. I deserve a life that feels like mine." You are not forcing belief. You are remembering it. The rising mind does not ask you to be fearless. It asks you to be willing. Willing to try. Willing to learn, willing to grow. And now, you are. There is a life waiting for you on the other side of hesitation, a life shaped by your choices, not your fears. But to reach it, you must begin walking with intention. Not sprinting, not rushing, just walking, steady, focused, aligned. You trace the outline of the life you want, the routines that support you, the boundaries that protect you, the relationships that lift you, the work that fulfills you. And you decide, maybe for the first time in years, that you are allowed to want these things. You do not need permission. You do not need validation. You do not need the world to agree before you take your next step. The life you choose is shaped by actions no one sees. The quiet choices, the early mornings, the moments when discipline replaces doubt. You show up differently now. You no longer wait for inspiration. You build momentum brick by brick, action by action, habit by habit. And slowly, your external world begins to reflect the internal shift you have made. You notice new confidence in the way you stand, new certainty in the way you decide, new calm in the way you carry yourself. This is what happens when you stop living for survival and start living for purpose. You walk into your life not as a visitor, but as its creator. And every step you take now is a declaration. I choose my future. I choose my direction. I choose myself. There is a power in you that has been quiet for too long, not lost, just waiting. Waiting for the moment your spirit became steady enough to carry it again. And now, that power rises, not in anger, not in desperation, but in truth. The truth that you are capable of more than people expected, more than life demanded, more than you once believed. This is the kind of power that is born from clarity, from surviving what should have broken you, from realizing that the worst things did not destroy you, they revealed you. You begin speaking with more intention, not louder, but clearer. You say what you mean without shrinking. You ask for what you deserve without guilt. You walk toward what you want without fearing the judgment of people who never understood your journey. This power is not aggression. It is ownership. Ownership of your voice, ownership of your identity, ownership of your story. You stop apologizing for needing rest, for wanting peace, for dreaming bigger than the expectations placed on you. None of this is selfish. It is necessary. It is aligned. It is who you were meant to be. And as this power returns, you realize your strength was not taken from you. It was waiting for you to grow into someone who could use it wisely. Now you can. Now you will. Now you stand fully in yourself without fear of taking up space. There is a point in your journey where resilience stops being a reaction and becomes your natural state. You become harder to discourage, harder to distract, harder to derail. Not because life gets easier, but because you have learned how to remain centered. In the middle of its chaos, you have been tested, you have been stretched, you have been pushed into corners you never wanted to face. And yet, each time you came back stronger. This is what unshakable people are made of. Not perfection, not certainty, not control, but repetition. Choosing again and again to stay grounded, to stay committed, to stay aligned, even when everything tries to pull you off course. You no longer crumble at the first sign of difficulty. You no longer break when plans fall apart. You no longer panic when the path becomes steep. You have been through enough storms to know that you can withstand them. You have been through enough losses to know that you will rebuild. You have been through enough endings to know that they often lead to better beginnings. This is inner stability, earned, not given, built, not borrowed. And now, you carry yourself with a quiet confidence that says, you cannot shake someone who has learned how to hold themselves. As you rise, your life begins to open in ways you once believed were impossible. Not magically, not instantly, but naturally. Because when you change internally, your external world cannot help but rearrange itself to match the person you have become. You start noticing things, opportunities, connections, paths, ideas, moments of alignment that were invisible to you before. Not because they were not there, but because you were not ready to step into them. Now you are. The life meant for you is not built from luck. It is built from alignment, from choosing what nourishes you, from releasing what drains you, from walking in the direction that calls you forward instead of the direction that keeps you small. You begin living with more intention, more clarity, more peace, more self-respect. Your days feel different. Your choices feel different. Your inner voice feels different. And slowly, you realize that the life meant for you was never out of reach. You simply needed to become the version of yourself who could receive it. Now you have, now you can, now you will. This is where your journey leads you, to the highest point your spirit has ever reached. Not because you avoided the storm, but because you walked through it and discovered who you truly are. You stand here now not as the person who broke, but as the person who rebuilt. Not as the person who feared the storm, but as the person who learned they were stronger than it. You have grown from someone who survived into someone who creates, someone who leads, someone who rises, because rising has become your nature. This is your ascension, your awakening, your return to the world as a person who knows their worth, their direction, their strength, their voice, their power. And as you breathe here at the top of your own transformation, you understand something profound. The storm was never your enemy. It was your teacher, your sculptor, your mirror, your awakening. It stripped away the noise so you could hear your own truth. It tore apart what was weak so you could rebuild what was real. It pushed you to your breaking point so that you could break open into the person you were always meant to be. You are not the same. You are more. You are deeper. You are wiser. You are stronger. And now, you step into your life fully, completely, unapologetically. You walk forward not with fear but with certainty, not with doubt but with trust, not with hesitation but with purpose. And as your journey continues beyond this moment, beyond this hour, beyond this storm, remember this: you did not just survive, you transformed, you rose, and you will keep rising for the rest of your life. If this message spoke to you, remember to subscribe to Rise Daily, motivation and mindset for modern dreamers.